My name is Alessia Smatrova-Taylor, and I'm the instructor of the brand new seminar taking place in North Bethesda, Maryland on November 11th and 12th, titled The Art of Capture Management: How to Position to Win Before the RFP Issuance. Let me tell you a little bit about the class. If you are interested in really seriously delving into capture, this is the class for you, whether you're a beginner or maybe a veteran. This makes capture process absolutely easy. It's not a zillion of steps in a linear process. This is a way to look at capture in a very practical and simple way. For example, the first aspect of capture is customer. Do you know exactly what kind of information you can get from the customer and what kinds of questions to ask when you're in a customer meeting? How do you build a relationship with a customer? A relationship that lasts. How do you make sure that you save your time and your money and you build the relationships with the people who are absolutely crucial to build the relationships with versus the ones that you don't absolutely have to do that with? What are the rules that you got to follow whenever you engage with a customer? How do you maximize the time with the customer before the door closes and before they actually cannot interface with the government people? And what do you do after the door closes? Are there techniques that seasoned capture managers can use in order for you to continue your capture effort? How do you shape the requirements of the RFP? What kinds of requirements can you shape? How do you do that in your favor? Perhaps there are situations where you could even turn a whole procurement in your favor so that it is severely limited, or you even get a sole source. All of those topics are going to be covered in the customer module. Now, the next module is about gathering intelligence. How do you gather intelligence like a professional? Beyond just going and Googling something, how do you find the artifacts and how do you read them? What kinds of nuggets can you get from there so that you're not, again, wasting your time? Because there's a whole universe of information out there. How do you sort through that? And how do you save the budget? Because you can be sorting till the cows come home. So that's one of those things, how do you gather intelligence during the industry days? How do you gather intelligence during site visits? How do you gather intelligence from the customer or from other sources? What kinds of other sources can you, find in order for you to distill the intelligence? Now, the other aspect that we're going to cover in this class is going to be win strategy. And again, how do you make sure that you have a viable win strategy? What is a good win strategy versus a win strategy that's not going to hold water and not going to get you to the win? How do you develop absolutely killer win themes? And I have a technique that can shortcut you to the win themes that you need without you having to spend days and days and days in win strategy workshops. I know of a way, and I will show you a way that is so straightforward, so almost easy, that you will be absolutely blown away. Another aspect of capture is competitive analysis. Now, competitive analysis absolutely is crucial in making sure that you can outdo your competition in situations where you're really competing with a lot of companies. That can be daunting. Some of the top government contractors could be your competitors in some pursuits. So you have to know exactly what they're doing. And they're not even, standing in one place. It's not a static process, it's a dynamic process. How do you do that throughout your competition? What kind of sources? How do you even find out who is going after this procurement? What are the techniques? We're going to cover all that. And after that, the next aspect is teaming. How do you make sure that you team in the best possible way? Are you going to prime? Are you going to sub? If you're a small company, is it necessary that you're a subcontractor or a large company? Or are there techniques for you to negotiate with the largest to make sure that you're the prime and that puts you in a more powerful position? Or how do you perhaps decide whether you want to sub, prime, or have a joint venture, populated joint venture, unpopulated joint venture? There are all the decisions that you need to make. Now, how do you make sure that you select a teammate that is absolutely someone that you can team with, that the customer wants to see on the program? How do you vet them? We're going to cover the checklist and all the questions that you got to ask yourself. What goes into a binding teaming agreement? How do you make sure that you don't lose your shirt? Now that you've done all this proposal work on the team, with a company, how do you make sure you get any work share? So all of those questions are going to be covered in the teaming module. And finally, we're going to get into solution development. How do you develop a solution before the RFP ever comes out? How do you find out what requirements, what's going to be in the proposal, what the customer is going to ask you? There's a way. And what are you going to put in your technical section? What are you going to put in your management section? Your executive summary, your key personnel, your price to win. What are the pricing strategies that you're going to cover? So, and finally, how are you going to manage this whole process? You know, capture sometimes takes a long period of time. You could spend a lot of money, a lot of effort, and the government will postpone and postpone and postpone this RFP. How are you going to make sure that you schedule all this effort to keep the momentum, to keep your capture team excited, to keep yourself excited, to make sure that you gather all the right information and position perfectly for the proposal? So I really hope that you sign up for this class, and I really hope that I get to see you in this class. The class is very small. There are only 20 people. We're more than half full already. So I really hope that you can make it, and see you there. Take care.